All right. So, okay. Oh, hello everybody. Okay, so, now before I say anything that I'm going to say, just know that I do believe Xenoverse is going to be amazing. All the hype I have for it is legitimate, like, Rhymestyle was saying. I think this game is going to be absolutely amazing, and I think it has potential to be one of the best, if not the best, Dragon Ball Z game we've ever had. That being said, the claims of this being like a real fighting game or anything like that, I think are outlandish claims. I think people that believe that are reaching way too far into this because there's so much shit that goes into an actual fighting game. There's no way Xenoverse can do something like that and remain casual. You're either choosing one or the other at that point. And I think Xenoverse needs to remain casual at the very least for people to just jump in and have some fun, which is what you can do with Xenoverse. Obviously, there are skill gaps. Obviously, with this game, this is looking like the most skill required game, I guess you could say, in the Dragon Ball Z universe. I think you can say that this game is closer to a real fighting game than any other Dragon Ball Z game, but to call it close to a fighting game, I think, is sort of robbing the credit from actual fighting games. Because you take a look at games like Street Fighter, we have to be frame perfect all the time. You take a look at games with like Mortal Kombat, where you can string together combos. They have, little 2, 3, 4 button whatever inputs, and you can string together combos. You can do like infinite combos. You can do all this crazy shit, and everything just sort of depends on not only your skill but your timing and your framing and all that stuff. And Xenoverse does have that, but it's to such a smaller degree that I don't think you can consider that an actual fighting game. Again, Xenoverse is looking like the most, the best Dragon Ball Z fighting game. It's looking like the one that's closest to requiring a lot of skill. But again, I think calling it anything more than, an in-depth Dragon Ball Z fighting game is kind of wrong. I think at the best level, we'll find some stuff to do with this game that'll make it a fighting game similar to Smash Brothers, where anybody can come in and have fun with Smash Brothers, and then people can get really competitive with it. I think that will be the best case scenario. But calling it a fighting game, I think, is not right. And another thing to go on to this is saying that different characters feel different from each other. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't think that's true. I don't think using Goku or another character like him is going to be that different. Now, when that information came out about the created characters, where it said how each character has like their different things, like the interference and all that stuff, I think that stuff, I think each character is broken down into those subsections. So, like, when you're playing a character in that subsection, it's going to feel similar to a character in that similar subsection. So, like, let's say, for example, you're playing as a Namekian. I think if you're playing as a Namekian, if I'm playing as a Namekian and you're playing as a Namekian, they're going to have sort of the similar playstyle, and you're going to feel the similarities. The differences will come in, of course, at how you play the game in general, as well as the supers and stuff like that you choose to do. Now, customizing the supers and doing all that other stuff, that right there is where a lot of the strategy comes in. And I agree that a lot of that stuff is strategy, but at that point, does that not leave things up to chance? So if I go into a battle with, Kamehamehas and fucking shit like that, and then you go into a battle with something that counters that, does that not break it down to a rock, paper, scissors kind of mechanic at that point? Are we just going to sit there and counter each other's movesets? That's not how fighting games work. How fighting games work is you have this character, and there are counter matchups, sure, but that's why you can learn more than one character. That's why in this game, I guess you can also argue that you can put on more than one super, but so can the other character. There's not enough there, I don't think, to really add that much depth to make this like a real fighting game. Again, I'll just reiterate, I think that Dragon Ball Xenoverse does require a lot of skill. I got my ass beat, that I won't lie. I sucked dick at that game. You can suck at that game. You can be good at that game. That doesn't give it enough depth to make it a traditional fighting game. I like what it's doing. I think what Xenoverse is doing is what Xenoverse should be doing. I don't want it to go into like Street Fighter and be frame perfect and shit like that. I don't want that from a DBZ game. But I think, people saying, they want to get like competitive with this or something like that. I mean, you can, but I mean, at the basic level, people need to understand that there is a difference between the Street Fighters, the Mortal Kombats, the Blaze Blues and stuff like that, and the Dragon Ball Z fighting games. That doesn't give it enough depth to make it a traditional fighting game. I like what it's doing. I think what Xenoverse is doing is what Xenoverse should be doing. I don't want it to go into like Street Fighter and be frame perfect and shit like that. I don't want that from a DBZ game. But I think, people saying, they want to get like competitive with this or something like that. I mean, you can, but I mean, at the basic level, people need to understand that there is a difference between the Street Fighters, the Mortal Kombats, the Blaze Blues and stuff like that, and the Dragon Ball Z fighting games.